Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Let's roll.
Out here in the country, where the roads run wide, there's a world behind the pixels that we're bringing to the light. From maps to mods, to the rigs we drive, we're talking to the folks who keep this farm life alive. It's Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Come pull up a chair and ride along with me. Stories from the makers, the builders of the scene. Farm Sim Talk, where we live the farming dream. He's got questions rolling like a big John Deere, digging deep with modders so their voices we can hear. From giants of the code to the artists painting skies, he's shining up their stories like a brand new combine. It's Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Come pull up a chair and ride along with me. Stories from the makers, the builders of the scene. Farm Sim Talk, where we live the farming dream. From tractors to textures, from silos to sounds, there's a whole crew of heroes making this world go round. So tune in and find out who's behind the screen. Farm Sim Talk's the place to see what farming really means. It's Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Come pull up a chair and ride along with me. Stories from the makers, the builders of the scene. Farm Sim Talk, where we live the farming dream.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Big Daddy Dave, and this is Farm Sim Talk, a show where we get to talk to other creators within the farm sim space to find out a little bit more about them and who they are and what it is they do here for Farm Simulator. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. I am, not doing so hot tonight, but the show must go on. We are going to get through this one. We're going to have a good time doing it. I see a bunch of people out there. Just want to give a big shout out to Ken Adlam, Jody Beard. We got Dust Bunny, Farmer J, Lisa, Dirty Nilsson. Yes, everybody. Thank you all so very much for coming out here and hanging out with us tonight. Let's go ahead and get to the introductions. I am joined here by my guest, WillTgaming, also known as the FSEncyclopedia. Will, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Oh, man. I am not doing too hot. Not doing too hot, but I'll get through this. I will do this. Oh, let's see. So, you want to let us know where everybody can find you at?
Yes, you can find me over on YouTube, WillTgaming at FSEncyclopedia. You can also find me over on Facebook at WillTgaming FSEncyclopedia, where I post new mods, updates, any news. You can stay up to date with all that. You can also find me over on Twitch. It's 9Minutes24, which is where I make most of my content. as of right now, my PC isn't working right now, not as functional as it should be. So I'm making not as much YouTube content, but I'm making more Twitch stuff. So
Gotcha, gotcha. And you want to give any shout outs before we get going?
just I want to give a massive shout out to all the modders and to Giants for bringing us such a great game. And, I also want to give a shout out to my wife as well for being a fantastic person in my life. I also want to give a big shout out to BDD for being a really good friend.
I appreciate it, bud. I appreciate it. All right. So, you want to tell us what it is that you do here within the Farming Simulator community? Just give us a brief synopsis.
Hey, oh, uh, well, I basically assist anyone who needs help, and if anyone has any questions, that no one can answer, that usually come to me. um, as example, like the other day on your Discord with Farmer Group. Um, let's see here. I also post content so people can watch it. Like I said, I also make sure everyone is updated on the new mods, any updates that comes out, any news from Giants. So I try to play a big role in the FS community as much as I can.
Gotcha. And if you could just real quick, just adjust your microphone just a little bit, getting a couple people having a hard time hearing you.
Well, I'm on an earpiece, so
Let's see. Just checking something here real quick. Okay. So let's go ahead and move into our first segment here. So it's called Digging Up Dirt. This is a segment where we get to know you for who you are outside of the farm sim community. So starting off, number one, how long have you been working with Giants and them not knowing about it?
I do not work for Giant Software. For anyone wondering, I do not work for Giant Software.
Yes, that was a joke. That was absolutely a joke. So, number one, do you have a job outside of the content creation sphere and the kind of FS life, or is this your full time gig?
No, I work at Walmart outside of this.
Gotcha, gotcha. Let's see. And then, what kind of hobbies do you have? Do you enjoy going hiking, fishing? Do you enjoy sports?
Well, as soon as it comes football season, I watch a lot of football. Uh, well, as you heard today earlier, went bowling today. We also went mini golfing. Um, uh, I used to like wrestling, not much anymore. Other than that, just I play a lot of video games. That's about it.
And who's your football team?
I actually have three football teams, which a lot of people are really confused about, but I can't pick a favorite, so I just have three favorites. Of course, my number one is the Buffalo Bills because I'm from Buffalo. Got to support the home team. Um, Number two is the Steelers, and the and number three is the LA Rams.
Wow, that's quite a collection there. So I can understand Buffalo being as close as you are to the city there, but Pittsburgh, I mean that should be like a sin or something to most Buffalo fans. What's the story with that one?
Oh, oh no, because I have two friends that are huge fans of Steelers, and after I started watching the Steelers like play, I don't know, I just grew to like the team. It was the exact same thing for the LA Rams. Uh, I mean, it's probably I can tell you I don't like the Patriots.
I again, that one I understand being so close to New England and all that. being on the Buffalo side, I could totally understand, not being a New England fan, especially for as long as they were so good. They were pretty much dominating the entire, globe pretty much. But so you also mentioned that you were into games outside of FS. What other games are you into?
Well, real quick before I answer that, do you know why the Patriots were so good?
I mean, there's quite a bit to go off of. I mean, there was Deflation Gate. There was, I mean, Tom Brady just being an absolute beast. There's, the team they put around him.
Well, I'm gonna summarize it up for one word for you, and it's a nickname that they've had for a long time. It's called so their nickname is not the Patriots, but the Cheaterits.
Yes.
they,
Oh
they
yeah.
they they cheat a lot. So
Oh yeah, yeah, no, and Deflategate was a good example of that. So who knows how much they were totally involved or anything like that, or if there was any one specific person to blame, but not
right.
not one to get into here in this forum.
Well, yeah. um,
So, oh, go ahead.
well, to answer your question from before, though, I mean, FS is probably the main game that I play out of anything, but I definitely play Call of Duty. I play Halo. I do play racing games here and there. Um, I'm actually excited for the new game coming out that Giants are helping publish. Um, but there are several other games that I also do play. So
Okay. And do you read books, watch movies, listen to music?
read books is a big fat no. Comic books I read, but not books.
What kind of comics are you into?
um, Marvel mainly, sometimes DC.
Are we talking like the
Um,
old school comics, or are we talking more the modern day?
like old school comics.
Oh, nice, nice. Who's your favorite
Um,
comic book?
Iron Man.
Iron Man. Nice, very nice.
Um, for movies, I love watching movies. I like if I had the choice, I could sit in my chair all day and just watch movies. Either that or play video games. I absolutely love watching movies. So,
What's your favorite?
favorite movie? Oh man, that's a good question. Uh, I actually have a lot of favorites, but now does it have to be one particular movie, or can it be like a trilogy of movies?
It could be a trilogy. It could be whatever you want it to be.
I'm gonna say my top favorite would have to be Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
If I had to pick a second, it'd be Star Wars. So
Nice, nice. Now I take it the originals Star Wars or
um, so basically like the originals five, four, five, six, and then one, two, three. I don't mind those. The last three that came out, get them out of here.
I'm right there with you. And then what kind of music are you into?
Anything but country.
Ouch.
Uh, yeah. Now I will admit this. There is one country song that I will listen to, but it's country rap. It's not full on country. Um, I'm not gonna play the song or nothing, but the song title is called Lasso. Um,
I'm not familiar with it.
and you what?
I'm not familiar with it.
I'll send it to you after the talk is done.
Okay.
Um, but it is a very, very good song. I actually hear it to my wife, and she goes, you know, this is country, right? I'm like, no, it's country rap. There's a difference.
Got to make sure that you put that correction in there. It's like, I'm not turning to the dark side.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then she looks at me, she goes, no, it's country, and I'm like, no. I'm like, do you know the differences? This is country rap. This is the good stuff. This is not Jason Aldean, but this is the good stuff.
So, what would you say is the weirdest or oddest movie that you've seen?
The weirdest and oddest movie. Now, are we talking about bad movies or just like different?
Just kind of off the wall, or you can lump in bad or whatever the case may be. Like it could be bad because it was so weird, or weird because it was so bad. However you want to answer the question.
All right, so I'm gonna answer this in a two-parter. Give me 1 second, man. I'm gonna just shut off this air conditioner because you probably can hear that in the background. Ugh, it's on auto right now. Give me 1 second.
Okay. So in the meantime, while he is doing his thing,
There we go.
I normally list off Star Wars Holiday Special is my weirdest movie that I've ever seen, start to finish. It is if you haven't seen it and you want to torture yourself and you are a Star Wars fan, then it's almost required viewing, but prepare yourself.
Well, I think it's funny because so I'm gonna answer this like a two-parter for you.
Okay?
Um, the weirdest movie I've ever seen, but it's funny weird. It's not weird like bad, but it's funny weird. It's called Spaceballs.
Love that movie. Love that movie.
um, now, as in like weird as in bad, like I would never watch it again. It's a movie called Aragon.
Oh, is that the dragon movie?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They
such a
they
bad
did so bad at that.
movie.
Like the book was really good. The book was good.
Yeah,
The not so much with the
the
not so
movie.
much with the movie. Yeah, it's one of those where you could tell that somebody took a cursory glance at the book, but then it's like, nah, we can do it better.
Yeah. Um, Now I know that it kind of goes with movies, but TV shows. I have two favorite TV shows I watch.
Okay.
Um, the first one is called Kitchen Nightmares.
Oh, good show.
Oh, love that show. It's so good. Um, you know, if I'm having a bad day and I want to laugh at something, I watch that. Um, the other show I really like is called The Big Bang Theory.
Also a good show. So, Kitchen Nightmares, they made a US version and a UK version. Have you seen the UK version?
Oh, watch the UK version.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It's so. I said watch the UK version. It's so much better.
Oh my goodness, it's hysterical. Because for those who don't often watch UK television or anything like that, anybody here in the States, um, they get away with a lot more on their airways than what we get away with. Here in the States, we have a lot of regulations regarding to the amount of cursing you can do or anything along those lines, to where it seems like, just at a cursory glance, over in UK, it's like just off the rails. Like basically, for the most part, and I'm not saying like exactly like this, but you pretty much get away with just talking like an adult. And to us, it's like pretty much like a drunken sailor got on the television. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's absolutely hysterical, especially when you throw in Gordon Ramsay and him coming up with all the little quips and sayings and stuff like that. It's hysterical.
yeah. There
So
was one. Well,
go ahead.
Well, there was one episode that I was watching it and I showed it to Brie because I took a little video over Snapchat and I sent it to her. I also sent it to a friend of mine. Um, my buddy responded back to me with nothing but a bunch of laughing emojis.
So let me ask you this. You do a lot here within the Farm Sim community between your channel, between your Twitch channel, and your Facebook page where you keep track of all the kind of news and stuff that's coming out. So, what would you do if for some reason you were not able to create that content anymore?
Well, it would be hard because I'm so used to doing it. Like it really it became a daily habit of looking at new mods, updates, any news that comes out. It's natural. So if something were to ever happen, I couldn't do it. I don't know. I really don't know.
So, do you have anything like in the back pocket? Would you go off to maybe another game and create content for that? Or would you just say, you know what, I'm gonna kind of recollect myself and go do something, completely different outside of the whole sphere?
Well, now, even if I couldn't, like get news out to people, post like new mods and stuff like that. I mean, I would still stream the game. I mean, if something were to happen all in general where I couldn't stream the game at all, then I would probably start just making content for a different game. But I don't foresee this game going anywhere. So,
Gotcha. And would you consider it your dream to be a content creator for Farm Sim, or did you just kind of fall into it?
my big dream is to become a content creator. Um, I mean, whether it comes full time or just on the side. Um, but I want to do it because I enjoy doing it. I don't make content because of there are some people out there who just make content because they want to make it to earn something. Um, that is the whole wrong reason of getting into content creation. You do it because you enjoy it, and that's one thing that I absolutely love doing is making content. So, unfortunately, I haven't been able to stream here in the past week and a half around there. Just been too busy. So, hopefully, cross my fingers if I have time tomorrow, and hopefully, I'll be able to stream for a couple hours. So,
Gotcha. And what do you think that you're not very good at that others would disagree with?
um, probably put out decent content. Probably, I don't know, probably like, which I know you're gonna disagree on this, which I don't take the best screenshots in the world. I really don't. Um, and 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 also like be able to predict and know what's coming from giants. I know that that I'm not the greatest at that either, even though a lot of people disagree with me. You, but um, that's about it.
Gotcha. And you mentioned that you have a wife and that you work full time. So how do you create that kind of home work and content creator life balance?
I'm not gonna lie to you, it's very hard. Um, well, because I work second shift, so I work 2 to 11. It's very hard. Um, because I like to spend the time with like in the morning with Bree before I have to go to work. Um, so I'm usually up by like 7, 8 o'clock now. I tend to like to try to at least sleep in a little bit because I used to be up at like 5, 6 o'clock. But with us living where we are, I can't be super loud in the morning. So I tend to like to wake up, have a cup of coffee, sit down, eat some breakfast, and just chit chat with her, spend some time with her, catch up on some videos, and by the time I'm all done with that, oh, it's already noon. Like I get ready, I have to start getting ready for work. The only time I'll be able to stream is if I get home, but by that time it's already gonna be like 11:10, 11:15 at night. So there's no point really for streaming because when I stream, like I don't get loud, but I also don't have an inside voice. So it makes it hard. Um, um, I know I've been trying to spend more time with her, and I know trying to go out and go do more things if we can, because I know that she's not really a homebody. She likes to go out and go do things, which I get. So, but whenever I get a free chance, I'm not doing anything. Then I like to stream. So, but it's very hard, very very hard.
So you mentioned how in the mornings you have to be, quiet and or you try to be quiet.
Yeah,
And it reminds me of when I lived in Georgia. I lived in an apartment complex there in Georgia, and it
yeah,
was honestly one of the worst places I've ever been. One of the worst places I called home. Um, Nothing in particular wrong with the state or anything like that, but just our apartment complex was just one of those where people were not the most considerate like you are, and we had those kind of neighbors who would sit there and play rap music at all hours of the day and night. It was a fun experience, coming home and, after a long day at work and all of a sudden you hear boom, 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 just
yeah,
it's like, come on. And then of course the upstairs neighbor, it sounded like they had, hoof for feet, just
oh
clang,
no,
clang, 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 just just
yeah,
just stomping all
heavy
around.
walkers. Yeah. Well, I mean that is one reason why Bree and I are actually very thankful we got a lower apartment because we're both heavy walkers. Um, I mean, especially me. Um, so like in the mornings as I wake up, like when I walk, I'm walking, which is one reason, like I said, that we're very happy that we got a first floor apartment. Um, I know our upstairs apartment originally, which hasn't been going on lately, but before um, at like 9 o'clock in the morning. Um, all I cannot talk. All we would hear is like dancing disco music, and then halfway through the day we hear Spanish music. Um, and then at nighttime, I remember there was one day it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. All I heard was kind of like dance music, and I'm like, damn.
Oh my goodness. So do you like to travel?
So yes and no. I like to travel because it gets me out, and I'll be able to explore things like my lovely trip that I took down to Florida to go see some family with a friend of mine. Um, that was super nice. I don't like traveling because I like getting out, but I also love the comfort of my own home. um, and I, for the life of me, cannot stand other people on the road. So,
So Florida would not be your jam. Would go driving around.
well, when I went down there, I mean, it wasn't awful. Um, I've definitely been in worse, like New York City.
Ooh.
Um, but I was just I'm trying to think of how I could phrase this. Um, it's not necessarily of how many people. It's just that there are so many bad drivers now that it's like people going through stop signs, people going through traffic lights, people yielding at red lights, people not using their turn signals. So it to me it's a hazard, and it makes me like it's a now a fear of mine to literally drive. when I first started driving, it never was like that, but now it is.
It's funny how as we get older, those fears kind of start to set in, and things that may not have bothered you when you were younger, now all of a sudden you're like, yeah, that's a thing.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. See, I know exactly why I became the way I am, and all nervous when I drive, and sometimes I get upset, and sometimes I get a little road rage. You can hear that from me, but uh, um, but it was after the pandemic that happened because because you know how people couldn't go to the DMV and get their license, and they couldn't really take a driver's test, so they basically just gave them their license.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that
Mm-hmm.
happened now in Florida, but I know here in New York that happened. So you get a lot of people drive around who didn't even really take a driver's test. They took one online, passed it somehow, and here they are. So
I always
that
found
right
it
there,
as sorry, go ahead.
that is where the fear came out at that point.
I always found that there tends to be two kinds of drivers. Those who, especially those who pass, and get their actual license and all that. Those who are great at the academic side of it, like the practical knowledge, but are just garbage behind the wheel, and those who are kind of the opposite, that are fine behind the wheel, able to do everything just fine, but just not that good at the actual, the book side of thing. And I would much rather have the person who's more practical on the road that understands, like, hey, these are the kind of ins and outs and this is what I can and can't do, versus,
Right,
those who can nail it academically and then, get on the road and just have no common sense.
right. Oh, don't come to New York then.
Oh, no, no.
Well,
So,
because like
go ahead.
what's up?
No, go ahead.
Well, no, because like for example, like, I was driving home from work last night, and I came to a four-way stop sign. So I literally came to a complete stop. I saw this car coming up, so I was going to stop. So I started going, slammed on my brakes at the last minute while I'm already in the intersection. And the dude looked at me and just went right to the stop sign, didn't even care.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, this is how New York is. This is literally how all New York is. People just going through stop signs like they just don't care. So
No, nope.
it makes me afraid.
I can't say as I blame you. So let me ask you this. What has been your favorite travel destination up until this point?
Florida.
Any particular part of Florida?
Well, I visited multiple different places in Florida. So on my trip going down there, so I left Batavia and I picked up a friend of mine. We stopped in West Virginia because I have an aunt local. So we stayed the night there. Nice place. We ended up driving straight through all the way down to South Carolina. We ended up meeting up with a old friend of mine um, that I used to play farm sim with. I don't really talk to him that much anymore. He's still talking in there, but and then we had dinner with him for a couple hours because it was raining. It was getting dark, so we just waited for the rain to stop. And we drove from there all the way to St. Augustine. Beautiful place, St. Augustine. Um, we ended up staying the night at my uncle's, spent a little time in the morning with him, and then we drove from there to Fort Lauderdale. Um, we were there for a couple of days. Then we went to Naples. Um, then we were there for we were supposed to be there only for a couple of days, and then go up to Orlando to go to Galaxy's Edge, um, in the theme park.
Mm-hmm.
And but unfortunately, the day we were supposed to go there, Hurricane Nicole, the eye was right over Orlando. Um, so we never were able to. So we stayed an extra day, and then we ended up leaving, driving straight all the way. It's like so it goes from South Carolina, North Carolina, and then it goes to what is that? Virginia next?
Okay. So if money was no object, where would be your like prime final destination to go to?
That's a tough one. That is a tough one. Well, I don't know because no matter where you go, you're gonna have problems. so, I'm gonna explain what I mean by that. It's like New York. It's New York, so literally, it could be an 85 degree out, beautiful, sunny. 4 hours later, it could be snowing and freezing cold. You get blizzards during the winter. You move to like Texas, Kentucky, Tennessee, areas like that, and you get tornadoes. Um, and then you go to Florida, you get hurricanes. You move to California, you get earthquakes, and and fires and stuff like that. Um, so I honestly could not. I couldn't tell you. I mean, if I had to pick one place to go, I know a lot of people are probably going to laugh at me for this. Is probably Switzerland.
Okay. And what about Switzerland is appealing?
Well, well, their prices are really good. Like, I mean, it's like they have how can I say this? They have tax. Like you go anywhere else, you have tax. They have taxes. It's like that. Their health care is free. Um, like it's not super expensive to live there. Um, it has great views. And probably the best part too is there's a lot of farms out there, and it was just like the views from Switzerland are just beautiful. They're amazing. I know that's one place that Bree and I would love to visit one of these days if we ever can get there is Switzerland. So
Gotcha. And what would you say inspires or motivates you?
to do what?
Just in life, go through life, live on to the next day. What inspires you?
Honestly, my wife.
Good
Um,
answer. Earning more brownie points. I like it.
well, no, because if it wasn't for her, I don't know, man. Because like it, it's rough. Because I mean, playing video games, yes, it gets me out of my mindset. It clears my mind. So does movies. Hanging out with friends, sometimes it helps, not really. But waking up every day and see my wife there, it makes me happy. It makes me, focus and realize that, be like, I can do this. I can move on. Like I know I gotta do what I gotta do. You know, so
Gotcha. Gotcha. And what's one thing that people are generally surprised to find out about you?
genuinely surprised. That's a good question, actually. uh, I would definitely say my height and my shoe size.
Okay. So like if somebody was talking to you, over the internet, over the phone, and they saw you in real life, it's like, whoa, that's a big dude.
Yeah, like I mean, because like for example, like my other buddy Ken that like I said that I visited when we were down in Florida because we went to South Carolina at dinner. Um, we've never even seen each other before, so you know, so his first reaction was as soon as he saw me, he looks at me, he goes, "You will?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I was not expecting that. Man, you're big." He goes, "What size shoe do you wear, man?" So 18s and men's.
Whoa, that's a
Yeah.
big foot.
So,
Wow.
So
I wear size, 13s, 14s on a good day, depending on the maker. But 18s, holy smokes. That's
yeah,
you're
yeah.
not going to Walmart to buy your shoes.
No, I'm not. I have to drive almost an hour away now because we always live in Batavia, where we are. But I gotta drive an hour away just to go to the store to get shoes.
Wow.
So yeah,
Big
stinks.
people problems.
Yeah. Plus, I also need big and tall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
need tall. I need big and tall. So
Yeah, so trust me, I completely understand. I know where you're coming from there. So, what's one of the biggest fears that keeps you up at night?
money. Um, and I'm being honest about that too. Money. Um, because it's like, okay, well, are we gonna be able to, be able to pay our bills? Are we gonna be able to get through this? Um, without having any problems. Thankfully, we've had a lot of help from a lot of different people, which is super nice to be able to help us. But I don't know. It's just I I think another big thing too for keep me up is like problems that are going around in the world too. It's like all these things happen. It's like, well, you never know if it's gonna happen near you, and you're like, just, I don't know. I just haven't been sleeping well because of it.
I gotcha. Yeah, I know money is a lot of people's, biggest fear, just, making it from this month to next month and all that
Mhm.
stuff. So that's you're definitely not alone in that one. So, do you
Yeah,
own any
right.
pets?
No. Um, I mean, Bree had a fish
She had a fish, you said?
when she killed it.
Ah, fish can be
Well,
very fickle. I don't know if well actually nobody can, but off to my left side there, I got my fish tank and yeah, they can be a little tricky from time to time.
no, like she completely forgot that she even had the
Oh,
fish. So, but no, but her Bree and I want to actually, as soon as we're able to, I know that we want to get a dog. So,
okay. Is there a type of dog you're looking for or
see that we're still discussing because, like, we we want a dog that that is like friendly and you can snuggle with, but also a dog that's not super hyper and super loud. um, I mean, for me, like I would love a golden retriever. Only because I absolutely love golden retriever. I love golden retrievers ever since I was a little kid. Um, that or black labs. My only big problem with them is they shed a lot. Um, I know that she wants a dog that doesn't shed and is small enough to like fit in your lap, basically. Um, I know one dog that we both agreed on that we're not going to get is a husky.
ah, yeah, that would be definitely one of those where the noise thing could become a problem.
Yeah. So,
I don't know if a lot of people have seen huskies like there's tons of YouTube channels out there that are dedicated to like their dogs and stuff like that, and I came across one where this lady had three huskies, and one will come into the room and she'll acknowledge its presence, and then all of a sudden it like grunts at her, and then because it grunts, the other one that's in the room already will sit there and like talk back to it. And then as they're sitting there kind of like grunting and not snarling, but kind of just kind of thing. All of a sudden, it turns into that to all of a sudden, and just they're all everything just breaks loose. It just gets nuts, and I'm just sitting there like, holy smokes, having to listen to that all the time, especially if you're in like an apartment or something like that. I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine it.
You know, I think it's funny that you say that. I mean, I've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of like dog videos, especially for huskies over TikTok. But um, and it's so funny how they basically like argue and talk back to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I sent a video to a friend of mine, and he responded back to me. He said the funniest thing in the world, and I really spat my drink out because I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing. He really stated that he will never get any huskies because they sound like old people fighting.
Oh no. There was one I saw where the husky was by itself, but if I remember correctly, the woman was over in the UK because she had that kind of thick English accent, and
Mhm.
she's sitting there and talking to the husky, like trying to get it to come inside, and all of a sudden it's just sitting there, just like starts talking to her, like just starts, "Rawr, rawr, rawr, rawr," like I'm not coming inside, and it's like, don't you mouth off to me, kind of thing. And then all of a sudden he just cuts loose, and she's like, hey, 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 like, no, no, and she's just sitting there kind of like not hollering at him, but trying to speak over him, which is just making him even worse.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my goodness, like, and they're gorgeous animals, don't get
See,
me wrong, they are absolutely
oh yeah,
beautiful, but yeah, it's just they they just seem like they have their own like world that they live in.
personality. Yeah. The like I out of any dog, I feel like huskies have more of like a human personality.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because there was one that I was watching, and a lady like that was recorded over TikTok was talking to the husky, was like, come here, I want to talk to you, and the husky was like, "Wow," and it's like, "No, come back here," like, "Wow," and then walked off. It's like
So,
they talk back.
oh yeah, there's some of them I've seen that get really sassy, like really sassy. Do they let you know?
So I think it's funny because I actually had I had a customer the other day at Walmart, um, because her and her husband were thinking about having kids. They weren't sure, so they asked. They were talking to some lady in my line about it, and they literally asked out loud, like like is there like a special program that they can go to potentially learn how to take care of a kid and what it seems like. And the one lady was like, I have no idea, and I'm like, wait, you want to learn how to take care of a kid? They're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, buy a husky.
You'll find out pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, who would you say is your favorite creators outside of the world of Farm Sim?
Favorite creators out of farm sim, like
Mm-hmm.
not farm sim related at all.
Correct.
I'm gonna be honest with you. There's only like two. That's Courage Reacts and Nate Shot. I mean, because everyone that I watch on YouTube for any content is farm sim related content. Um, I mean, I watch them for like Call of Duty and stuff like that, League of Legends. But because Nate Shot's also the owner and founder of the group called 100 Thieves, which is a gaming team. I follow that. I think it's awesome, you know. Um, but like I said, like 99.9% of everyone I watch for content creators has to do with farm sim. I mean, DJ Goham once in a while will post like racing videos or like Grand Theft Auto 5 videos. So
So that leads me to my next question. Who are some of your favorite creators inside this space?
I got a lot. I definitely say DJ Goham, Andy Farm, Mr. City P, Looney Farm Guy, uh, Daggerwin, um, Farm Sim, or Sim Farmer, something along those lines. Um, I'm just trying to think of who else I have. The Camper. Yeah, I got a lot more into that, but that's just some of the people.
Gotcha. And if you could meet any three people, who would they be and why? And that's past or present.
Well, I forgot one for that. Of course, you. I watch all your content.
I
um,
appreciate that.
Three people. Well, so I'm gonna start down at the bottom and say number three. I'm gonna start with number three first. Um, Number three, I would definitely have to say would be Andy Farms. I would love to meet him in real life. Like watching his videos and everything, he just seems like a really cool person. Um, and he also seems like he'd be a really, really cool person to hang out with. Number two would definitely be DJ Goham. Um,
Gotcha.
and reason why for him is, I mean, oh, I've been watching DJ Goham for since FS19. Um, so I've been following his channel for a long, long time, and I just love his energy. Like I like, he just seems like that kind of person you could hang around all day with and not get bored. You know, um, and my number one is you. No, um,
Aw.
I mean, my main reason is, well, I mean, we're best friends. So well, I mean, why not?
Well, one of these days that will happen, sir. That will happen.
Which
So go ahead.
to let everyone know that BD and I literally message every single day about new mods and stuff like that. What's going on?
Oh yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Gotta keep in close contact.
Oh yeah.
So last question I have for this segment is, what was your first job?
My first very job like ever was Darien Lake, which is a theme park up in New York. Um, it's actually one of the biggest theme parks. Not the biggest, but one of the biggest. If anyone knows the name by the Superman for a roller coaster, that's from Darien Lake. Um, yeah, my very first job there was janitorial. I did not like it. Not even in the slightest.
So you're just generally like just picking up after people and doing that kind of stuff?
Go around picking up trash, emptying trash cans, which were full of nasty stuff. Um, and then going around and sweeping, make sure everything was good to go. And we also had to clean bathrooms, which was awful.
Ooh. Yeah, that definitely
Um,
doesn't sound like a fun job.
I mean, I worked at Darien Lake for three different jobs. I worked there for janitorial. Then I went back a couple years later. I went back for landscaping, which for about like the first 2 weeks, I was in the garden crew. So we were around to different like garden beds and we put down mulching, plant things. And then for about the rest of the season up until August, so which was about 4 months, yeah, roughly about 4 months. Um, I was on the mowing crew because I had experience then for that. Um, and Basically just drove around the entire park on a zero turn and just mowed stuff. um, and for Then the third year, which I ended up working overnights at, was the gate for the hotel. Um, which that was my very first time ever working overnights, and my body was not used to it. I end up getting let go from that job because they caught me sleeping at the gate.
Oh no.
So because apparently someone was honking for like 5 minutes until I finally woke up and I finally realized somebody was there.
Oh no.
I'm
Oops.
like, yep, I'm gonna get let go for this.
Oh man. Well, like I said, that's the last question I have. So now we're gonna send this off to the chat. So I want to give a big shout out to Dust Bunny. Dust Bunny, thank you so much for gathering up all these questions for us. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. The first one comes in from Ghost Tech Gaming. Says, what is your opinion on when having someone in the live chat, either through Discord or game chat, that constantly clears throat and doesn't mute their mic?
Well, I mean, I can't necessarily mute my earpiece, so
I don't know if that was necessarily directed at you or if it was just a general question.
uh, um, and I kind of felt like that was directed towards me.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and move on from that one. Ken Adlam, thank you so much for your question. It says, which do you prefer, PC or console, to play FSON?
That's a good question, Ken. That's a really, really good question. I'm like in the middle. I mean, I like playing on console because I've been a console gamer, ever since I started gaming. So I've always played on consoles. Plus, to be fair, I can sit in my nice, comfy chair and just pop my feet up and play my Xbox. um, but for my PC, it's nice because I'll be able to stream to YouTube, and I actually have a steering wheel, side panel, stuff like that. That makes it more immersive. So it's kind of like that gray area where I like playing on both. So
Gotcha. Again, Ken, thank you so much for your question. We got one from Dust Bunny. Says, what made you decide to give yourself the name FS Encyclopedia and why?
so I did not give myself that name. BGD and his chat decided to give me that name. um, the reasoning behind it is because Jonah and BGD, I think Ken was one of them, all thought that I worked for Giant Software because I knew everything. Like I knew what DLCs were coming out, and I knew when mods were coming out, and I knew anything that was coming from Giants, even before it was even posted. So, and the second I said something about it, the next day, there it is, or like the next week, there it is, and they're like he secretly works for Giants, and then it just led to one thing to another, and then they ended up calling me the FS Encyclopedia because I started answering questions that nobody had answers to. So,
Gotcha, gotcha. So again, Dust Bunny, thank you so much for your question. We got one from Farmer J. Farmer J, thank you so much. Says, the UK does have limits on their TV channels. We call it the watershed mark. No swearing or nudes before a certain time at night. Oh, okay, okay.
hmm,
So more of a statement than a question, but again, Farmer
yeah.
J, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. We got another one from Kem that says, besides Alma, what is your next favorite map to play on?
Now, does that mean like maps that are out right now or maps that are coming out?
Let's go ahead and stick with the maps that are out right now.
That's a good one. Um, I mean, I mean, I do have a save that's based off of for Oak Ridge, which is the one that you have your live stream series on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also, I'm just trying to think here because Alma Missouri is one of the big ones. I know I also have a save on Elm Creek, which I don't know if I'll be going back to that or not because I built a nice farm on there and I gotta make a new one because it requires a new game save. So I don't know if I'll be going back to that, especially with it being almost 900 megabytes. um,
It's not
uh,
1.3.
well, there was, yeah. Um, Angry Forest, that's a good one. I have a save on there as well. Um, and then there's one map that actually came out today, which I'm on right now. Beautiful map, so I'll definitely be playing this a lot. Now, if you're referring to maps coming up, I know Stone Valley is one of them because that is coming back. I know Farming in Indiana, that's what I'm excited for, and Iowa Plains too. So,
Gotcha, gotcha. Again, Ken, thank you so much for your questions. We got another one here from Dust Money. Says, "What state do you live in?" New York. I can answer that one.
New York.
Again, Dust Money, thank you so much for your question. And looks like the last one we have here is from Rail Fanning Jonah. Jonah, thank you so much for your question. Says, "Do you secretly work for giants?"
Oh no, Jonah, no, I do not.
Again, thank you
Yes,
everyone
Jonah, I
for
do.
what was that?
Yes, Jonah, I do. I'm secretly a spy.
Uh, Thank you so much, Jonah, for your questions. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Now it's time to move on to our next segment. This is called the Meat and Potatoes, emphasis on potatoes. This is where we get to know you for more of your creation of content here in the farming simulator space. So we established how we got to know you as, the FS Encyclopedia. What about WillTgaming? How did Will T come up?
Oh, so I was trying to think of a name originally, which my original name I came up with was Steiner 24 because during football my nickname was the Steininator. Um, so and uh, and when I came up with the Steininator 24, originally it was supposed to be something else, but when I put it as the other thing I wanted to put it as, which I'm not going to say it on here because I feel like it's gonna be too childish to say. Um, I ended up changing it. So I ended up changing it to 24. It was just easy, both even numbers, two, four, made it quite easy. Um, and and then ended up just keeping that as my Twitch. And then later on, I decided, you know what, I think I'm gonna change my name to something that I feel like would stand out more. So I ended up putting WillTgaming.
I gotcha. And then for all of your channels, your Twitch and your YouTube, do you only put out FS content or do you produce other content as well?
I mean, I have put out other content. I have put out Call of Duty content. I put out other games as well. But I mainly do Farm Sim because Farm Sim is the one that gets the most views out of anything. So
Gotcha. And then how long have you been playing Farm Sim? Like when did you start?
FS15,
FS 15. So you've been around for a while.
yeah,
And when did you start creating content for Farm Sim?
back in FS19.
Okay, okay. So took you a few iterations, but eventually you got there in FS 19. Was there something that kind of spurred you to start creating content, or you just decide one day, you know what, this is what I want to do?
Well, I actually got extremely inspired to make content from watching DJ Goham and Mr. Silly P.
I gotcha. And what was one thing that you never expected when you started your channel? Some examples I give is the sense of community, any unexpected backlash, things along those lines.
Um, what was the question again?
So, what was one thing that you never expected when you started your channel?
Oh, to get where I am, honestly. Uh, because my numbers have definitely grown on YouTube and Twitch, which is fantastic. I've I honestly thought that I would never get this far at least, and also getting to know other content creators, be able to know other modders, and basically just being where I am now. I had never thought it would even be possible, and it's a blessing, honestly, for people. I mean, because like I go back sometimes and I watch my old content and I cringe every time I watch it. I'm like, why did I make this? Like my newer stuff is so much better.
In all fairness, I think everybody who's honest with themselves will look back at their original stuff and cringe. I think that
Yeah.
for the most part, you get one of two people. You either get people who will honestly look back at their original stuff and be like, "Ooh, man, I've grown since then," or the other people who are just like, no, I recognize I'm probably not cut out for this, and they kind of dip out, or they real life happens kind of thing. So I think that's generally the two kind of people that exist, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, whatever the case may be. I know me personally, I will 100% say that any of my old stuff, which I proudly have it still on my channel to this day, because we all start somewhere, and it makes no sense to
Mhm.
me to, to wipe it or to do anything like that. But yeah, no, the content I make now is leaps and bounds better than what it used to be, and I'm hoping that within the next year it'll be better and just keep on growing and growing and growing. That's You're always setting your sights higher, and if you're not, then what are you working towards?
Right. Exactly.
So, would you consider Farm Sim to be your favorite game?
No, hands down. It most definitely is most definitely my favorite game. I mean, um I still have FS 17, 19, 22, and 25 installed. I mean,
Nice.
I do go back. What was that?
Oh, I said nice. That's
Yeah. Um, I mean, I do go back and I do play it once in a while. I actually did stream FS 19. It was a couple months ago, somewhere around there. Um, I missed it. I missed Lone Oak. So I wanted to go back and stream that. Um, and I tell you what, as much as I love going back and playing the old games, it's like you look at that game, and you look at where it is now, and it's like these graphics.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've only been around playing Farm Sim since FS19, and the leaps and bounds, difference between graphics from 19 to 20 to 22, then to 22 to 25 is just it's insane. It's ridiculous how far it's progressed just in that short amount of time, and I could only imagine it had I played it, going all the way back to FS15.
Yeah, the graphics then were absolutely terrible. Now I know I did get a highly requested game to stream. I don't know if I will be able to do it or not. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm gonna try to. I gotta figure out a way that I would be able to. So because the highly requested game that I had was Donkey Kong on the Nintendo Switch. I mean on the Nintendo 64 N64.
That was a
So,
great system.
so
Great system back in the day.
I still have my grandma's, um, and it's in perfect condition. So
Oh. See, there's times where I wish I had my old systems, but then I remember like I can't go backwards when it comes to gaming,
right,
because every time I went out and bought one of those Nintendo, like it's got like the built-in ROM and whatnot where you're able to play all the old video games from the Nintendo days. And I
yeah,
played it for all of maybe a week, and I'm like, wow, like I used to just be in awe over these games. I used to absolutely adore them when I was younger. But nowadays, I just can't do it.
Ralph Fanning Jonah donated $1.99 through Super
Well,
Chat. Like for a free cookie
I
lol.
mean, like the amount of like older systems that I have and older games that I play. I mean, I mean, I can still go back and play a lot of the games. Like, um, when I lived back in my old place before Britt and I moved here. Uh, I asked her to see if she wanted to go back old school and play a multiplayer game. Well, because we didn't have any internet at that point, we were still waiting for Spectrum to show up with our internet. Um, so I ended up hooking up a old TV that I had that wasn't a smart TV. Um, and I ended up hooking up the Nintendo 64 to it. We ended up playing some Donkey Kong, and I remembered how much I missed it. I absolutely loved it. And excuse me. Um, I mean, other than that, I mean, I have other game systems. I have a PlayStation 2. I have a PlayStation 3. My brother Matt is sending me his PlayStation 1. I have an Xbox Series S. I have uh, a Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo 64. We also have a Nintendo Switch OLED. So,
Gotcha, gotcha. So real quick, Rail Fanning Jonah with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Jonah. Greatly appreciate it. Like for a free cookie, LOL. And Farm FS Farmer with the gifted membership. Thank you so very much. Went out to Lisa. So again, thank you both so very, very much. So one thing that I find that's very common when it comes to farming simulator is that the people who have the kind of, drive and connection to play it, especially on the regular, very oftentimes have a deep connection to the world of farming. So it's one of those, you may have grown up on a farm or you worked on a farm or whatever the case may be. It's generally, I'm not saying it's impossible, but generally rather rare that there's not some connection, one way, shape, or form to the farming world. Do you have said connection, or do you have anything that's going on, whether currently, past, present, whatever, where you had that kind of tie that kind of plays into the love of farm sim?
yes. My parents, well, to this day, still raise Highland cows. Uh, they also have pigs once in a while. Sometimes we'll get sheep. I know they had alpaca for a little while. They have chickens. Um, and they also do maple syrup. But the biggest thing too is that growing up, we actually lived on a road where there was a dairy farm right across the street. There was also a dairy farm right down the road, like walking distance from where I live. So just seeing tractors go up and down and go into the fields and work. I mean, ever since I was a little kid, like 5, 6 years old, I used to run to the back of the edge of our property and sit down on the grass and watch them do field work. It's always been a big passion of mine. I've always loved tractors. And then as soon as I was able to actually get a gaming system and play it, then my brother actually is the one who introduced me to Farm Sim. So I ended up playing Farm Sim. I liked FS15, ended up getting 17. Played that for a while. Actually, I got a decent amount of hours in 17. Then when 19 came out, I got that. Played a lot of 19. And then when 22 came out, of course, played even more of that. And now 25 is out. And my plan is to beat my record for playing more 25 than 22. So,
Gotcha. And you made mention that you or are a fan of tractors. Is there a specific brand that you're into?
oh, you sure know this one. John Deere.
Oh,
Um,
I do
John
know
Deere,
this one.
yeah, John Deere is my number one brand. My number two favorite brand is Claas, CLAAS. Um, and my third favorite is John is Case. My fourth is Oxbow. So
So a little birdie told me that was New Holland was your favorite.
first of all, whatever little birdie told you that was lying to you. I do not like New Holland.
Ah, okay, okay. So maybe it wasn't a little birdie. Maybe it was, me making a joke. Okay, I'll give you that one. So, how much of your day would you say consists of playing or making farming simulator content?
Playing the game whenever I really can. Like I said, it's been tough past week, almost 2 weeks. Like I said, I'm starting this new, like I started this new job and been trying to spend more time with Breathe and focus on video games. So it's whenever I can in a week, I want to say just playing it without streaming, probably probably around 6, 7 hours, maybe. Um, for streaming it a week whenever I do have a chance. I try to stream at least 4 hours for 3 times a day. So sometimes I end up streaming for about 5 hours, 5 times a day. It all depends on the week and the kind of day it is. So
Gotcha. So we established that you started playing Farm Sim in FS15 and then you eventually started creating content in the FS19 days. So, what would you say is your most and least favorite map per Farm Sim iteration, going all the way up to current maps that are out?
my
So,
favorite map,
starting with FS15, when you started playing on that, what was your favorite for that one?
that was 15. I mean, oh, that was such a while ago. I don't remember. And I, dude, I can't even tell you. I can't even remember.
Okay,
I can tell you 17, but I can't tell you 15.
let's hear 17 then. What's your favorite for 17?
17 would definitely have to be Chellington.
Okay, okay. And do you have a least favorite for 17?
Not really. I really didn't see back then when I played it. I loved everything. Like I didn't really have like one that I didn't like. So
Okay, and what about 19? Do you have a favorite for 19?
ooh, there's so many in 19 that I absolutely loved. Oh, there's so many. So I can't pick because I just had so many in 19 that
I
I
mean,
loved.
if you got like a couple that you want to throw out there, just go ahead and let us know which ones did you like the
Um,
most.
well, there are four of them, and I'll throw them out there. Number one was Lone Oak. Of course, everyone loves Lone Oak.
Beautiful
Um,
map.
Number two was American Life Farming from Lancy Boy, which unfortunately it came at like the end of FS19's life cycle. So it's coming back, which I'm excited for. I don't know when it is. Um, the other one I absolutely loved was Chellington Valley from Oxygen Day. Great map, loved it. Uh, and then the last one that I absolutely loved a lot was Stone Valley. That was another big one I loved.
Excellent, excellent. What about 22? Do you have any favorites for 22?
22, definitely Elma. Elma, Missouri was definitely one of the big ones that I had because I had almost well over 1,000 hours on that.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I had a lot on that map. Um, I think here, I know Valley Springs was another one I really liked. In 22. Stone Valley was another good one, and so was Edgewater.
So, if you could pick any map throughout all your lifetime of playing Farm Sim that you could bring to FS25, what map would that be?
Here. Um, oh, that's a tough one too. So for this one, I'm gonna say one American and one European map, just to make it fair enough.
Okay.
Um, the American is Lone Oak. I would love to have Lone Oak. As much as I know it will never happen, because these everyone's already came out and said the old Bill and Knox, they've already stated it's not coming back. But that would definitely be Lone Oak. And for the European, I would. And I know he has plans for bringing it back. I know he already stated it. He doesn't know when, but Chellington Valley. That's another one I would love to see come back to 25. I think Chellington Valley would look amazing in 25.
Oh, without a doubt. Absolutely. So, of the maps that have been announced so far, which one are you most looking forward to?
I would definitely have to say I Will Plays View. Um, Only because of the built-in maple syrup production. I think it's awesome, and I'm super stoked for that. I mean, because Frankenmuth already had the ability to make silage from alfalfa until he made haylage, which I know I don't know what Isle Plains View is not going to have. But I think it's also awesome that he added that in there that you can be able to like mow down alfalfa, pick it up, and throw it into a bunker or wrap it for a minute. So
And before Farm Sim 25 released, we were starting to get all the news from Giants, them letting us know, hey, be on the lookout for this feature, all that kind of slow drip of
mm,
information. What was the one feature that you were most excited over?
oh, and that's in FS25.
Correct.
Man, there's just a lot of good ones. There's a lot of really good ones. I would definitely, if I had to really pick one, I would definitely have to say GPS base game because it's so much easier to be able to be in cab and do more realistic, gameplay when I stream. When I have GPS, I can set. So I would definitely
Mhm.
have to say that GPS.
And what was the one feature that you were initially excited over but soured on pretty quickly when you actually got to play FS25?
All right. I know a lot of people are not gonna like me for saying this, and that's okay. But this is my personal opinion, and that's the expendable pastures. Um, I think, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still like it, um, but it's a great thing to have, especially if you just have one animal barn put down. But as everyone who's followed my channel and everyone that's followed BE channel and seen my screenshots, all of you know I like to build massive dairy farms. Um, I can't build a massive dairy farm as if every single pen I have has a pasture to it. you know, so I mean, like I said, if I only have one cow barn and that's it, that's all I'm gonna have is just one cow barn, maybe two. Then yeah, sure, I would be okay with it. I mean, for doing sheep, I absolutely love it. You know, but I don't know. It's just it's one of those things that I was excited for at first. And I really loved it until I realized that I couldn't really build a massive dairy farm the way I wanted to from that. So I think that really put a little hindrance on me liking it.
Okay. And what's one thing that is not in Farming Simulator that you really wish was?
That's a well. Technically, there's two things. Um, the first one would definitely have to be it's something very similar to pumps and hoses that it came as a DLC in 22. But it's based off the manure system from Lobster, where you have to hook up from like a tube, like a pipe, like to your tractor, and then hook it up to your fertilizer tank, like a self-propelled sprayer. And then you'd actually have to fill it going that way instead of just pulling up next to it. Um, and the other thing is, I really wish that they would have like alfalfa in the game. And you'd be able to actually make like haylage, cornlage, and all this like basically all these different ingredients that you would need to make TMR, not just make it like silage, hay, straw, mineral food.
Okay. And you mentioned that, animal husbandry specifically for cows is kind of your big thing. Um, is there anything else that you like to do for your farms, or you basically you try to kind of stick with the whole cow angle?
Well, I personally try to stick with the cows. This is one thing I love doing. Pigs, I tried it once, did not like it. Pigs to me, I mean, yes, they reproduce in the game very rapidly, which is fantastic, but they're just not really that useful to me. Chickens would definitely be in number two because chickens you get eggs from, and the more eggs you get, the more money you can make. Um, I definitely would have to say now in 25 that we have water buffalo. I think it's fantastic. I love making a mozzarella cheese in the game because it makes so much money. It's like it's like the key how to make money as long as you have enough animals. Um, Sheep, I like doing sheep because wool. Which all you have to really do is just feed them hay, and that's it. It's quite simple. That's some chickens. You just gotta feed them wheat. That's it. Um, I
Gotcha.
feel like pigs. I feel like pigs have more of a complex um, food ratio, and horses, forget about them.
Now, we've established that you play on both, console and PC. And we now established that horses are not your thing. One of the mods that I'm familiar with on PCs is the kind of horse trainer mod where it just kind of, rides your horses for you,
Mhm.
at a cost. Is that a mod that you would consider installing just so that way then you have the ability to have horses without having to put in the huge commitment to it? Or do you feel that that just kind of
No,
takes it away from it?
well, A, I feel like it takes away from it, but B, I also think it's a fantastic thing to have. No, I just feel like horses aren't worth it in the long run because by the time you get them to right where they need to be be able to sell them, I mean you're basically spending like two-thirds of that on a new horse. So there's just to me there's no reason to have really have horses. So
I gotcha. So what about cows is so appealing to you? Is it because of, where you come from and your kind of history in real life that cows are that appealing to you? Or is there just something like in the game that just really kind of you like about doing a big dairy farm?
well, it definitely has to do with me with where I grew up because I grew up around dairy farms. Oh, I just I absolutely love how they function. I love the smell of cow manure, even though breathing is disgusting. Um, I absolutely love the smell. So
So, as a content creator, what kind of advice would you give to somebody who is looking to start in this field?
definitely start out small. I I cannot harp on that enough. And if you really want to start out like with a cow farm, start out with beef. Um, don't start with dairy. Start with beef because all you gotta do is make like, hey, feed it to them. Boom, you're golden. I mean, for some pens, yeah, you'll need water, but other than that, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You just feed them, hey, you're golden. Um, now, of course, once you're able to get more money, get more fields, get more equipment, then move on to dairy farming because then you'll be able to actually make the stuff that you need. Um, which, if you're starting out as a dairy farmer, I would definitely highly recommend just getting the bell wrapper and wrapping bales. Let them ferment and silage. There you go. Now, if you're running a huge operation, like 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 on my Ellen, Missouri that I had 22, I had pretty close to 10,000 cows. It was like 7,000 something. Um, I had I probably had 8 bunkers on my farm that I completely filled up with alfalfa, grass, and corn. But that was also because, way for a massive dairy farm like that, I mean, you can't just make wrap bales. It just doesn't work. So you're gonna need bunkers. You need for fermenting silos. It also helps when you have another person with you. I mean, you could do it yourself, but it's a lot harder. Um, now in 25, I mean, you can do dairy cows, but this is just me being honest. If you want to get into doing cow work, um, of course, like I said, start with beef, but then go straight to water buffalo. The reason why I say that is because water buffalo you can make a lot of money off of, especially when you get a mozzarella production going. So
And what would you say is your most memorable moment in your content creation career so far?
memorable moment, I would definitely say definitely meeting new people. Like because I know in FS I know a lot of people come and go, and you meet new groups, meet new people. Probably I want to say my most memorable, um, which I'm not saying this because I'm on here at the moment, but definitely like meeting you for the first time. You know, I don't know. It's just when it comes down to FS, I've had friends come and go, like constantly. Um, but out of my whole FS time that I played FS between 22 and now, you're like the longest friend I've had to play FS with. So
Well, that's awesome. That's certainly does my heart good. So, what is your favorite mod out there?
oh man. Now does this have to be like vehicles, equipment, placeables? Like,
I mean, whatever you want it to be. If you want to list a vehicle, then that's fine. But yeah, just any particular mod out there that you would consider your favorite. And if you gotta list a couple of them, feel free.
excuse me. Um, that is a very tough question, man.
That's why I
um,
ask it.
I definitely want to say for a placeable. Oh, I got so many of them. It's not even funny. Um, yeah, like I said, I couldn't even tell you. No, I'm gonna start with placeables first. Placeables, I would definitely have to say it's kind of a mixture. Definitely anything from ICUS or Legacy Egg. Probably my main big thing is because they're more focused on American style buildings than anything. Fantastic. Um, for equipment that's not part of a DLC, I would definitely have to say anything from custom mining, especially like the metal pack with their pump and their slurry boss, their tanker with the slurry lagoon. Um, As for drivables, as for like vehicles, see, that's a tough one because I have so many favorites that I always choose from. I I don't know. Like, I would have to roll a dice just to be able to pick one. Um, um, I can't I can't even pick that one, man. There's just too many. I
That's
really
fair. That's
can't.
fair. So, who would you say is your favorite map maker?
Oh, that's another question.
And I'm talking one of those where you see their name pop up on the hub and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, I've got to go run and check that out." Like it doesn't even matter like that you heard anything or anything like that. It's just that one map maker you're like, "Okay, you know, so and so just put out a map. I'm going to go check it out for myself," kind of thing. Who's that one map maker?
I would definitely have to say, and I deeply apologize to the other map makers that I absolutely love, but I would definitely have to say Oxygen David.
Gotcha, gotcha. And then, was there any creator out there that inspired you to start your channel? You had mentioned DJ Goham and Mr. Sealy P. Was there anybody else out there that uh, kind of inspired you to get on the whole content creation sphere?
Um, it was mainly really just I mean, watching Dagger Win also got me really intrigued as well. Dagger Win was actually the very first person I started watching for Farm Sim. Then it was DJ, and then it was Mr. Sealy P. So, and then it just was other people left and right here and there.
Gotcha. And then, what specifically about their content kind of inspired you to start your channel? Was it just, them just kind of doing their own thing, or was there just something that specifically kind of spoke to you that drove you to the space?
Well, just just sitting there watching them play Farm Sim, just just like watching them do what they do. Um, they really inspired me to be like, I love farming, and I think this would be awesome. I love YouTube. I love Twitch. Like, why not? So it hit me, and I'm like, let's go. And at that time, I also loved Call of Duty, so that was another one I streamed a lot at that point. And I was just more farm sim than anything. Um, and Now, do I agree on how some of these creators play? No. I mean, like, the one thing, and I'm gonna say this, the one thing I love about Farm Sim is you can play it the way you want to. There's no campaign. There's no like like specific way you have to play the game. It's basically an open book. You can play it any way you want to. Now, do I agree with all the cheaty mods like what DJ Gohan uses or BDD? Um, uh,
Guilty.
no, no. Do I believe that this is a game called Farm Sim and not like Construction Simulator or something along those lines? Yes, I do believe that as well. I believe that some of them. I mean, I appreciate every single mod that comes out because it's something that we have. But on the other hand, I also think to myself, like, why do we have this? Like a goat cart. Why do we have a goat cart? You know, but yet I think that way, but yet I also appreciate it. It's something else that we have out. So,
So, my last question for this segment is, if you had the ability to make a map in real life, all the prerequisite knowledge, all that stuff, what where would you base it off of and why?
You mean the map that I'm working on right now?
Yes.
So everyone know, there is a map that I'm currently working on right now. It's on hold at the moment until I get other people to do what they need to do first, to help me with it. But it's based off of the dairy farm across the street that I grew up from where I grew up, and and the scenery and how it is laid out and how the area is around. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and like it's hilly. It's not even flat, and I just feel like it would be a great map to make, and that's why I wanted to do it. I started in FS19, never finished it, unfortunately. And I got started back in 22 again, and then I said it wasn't coming back because of people complaining, and now it is coming back again because I finally am able to get help from the modders that said that they probably weren't going to be able to help because they were working on their map, but now since they have time coming up here, they're going to be able to help me. So it is coming back. So
Excellent, excellent. Like I said, that's the last question I have for this segment. So let's turn back to the audience there and see what they have to ask. So, firstly, Samuel Wilkinson, thank you so much for your question. Says, I think, uh, I think he's asking, do you play on PlayStation or Xbox?
oh, uh, I used to have a PlayStation 5. I mainly play on Xbox.
Gotcha, gotcha. And you also play on PC, as we established. Again,
Yes.
Samuel, thank you so much for your question. Greatly appreciate it. We got one more from Ken says, got one more question for you. Why don't you like contracts in Farm Sim 25?
So, Ken, and I've never stated this before, so this is even the first time that BDD's ever heard of this. Um, I don't like doing contracts. I think sometimes they don't pay enough as what they should. Um, I also feel like, I mean, if you're starting out from scratch, I mean, you really don't have a choice. But doing contracts, I feel like takes you away from doing things on your own farm to make it function. That's just my personal opinion.
Gotcha. Again, Ken, thank you so much for your questions. We got one from Cavalier Roy. Roy says, "I have a question. If you could take any feature that is in FS25 and flesh it out more, what would that be and why?"
Flush it out more. You mean like expand on it?
So based on how the question's worded, yes, I think he's saying if there's a feature on FS25 that you think could be like more how do I put it? More like involved or brought to like a deeper level. What feature would that be?
Well, that's actually a really good question. I'm not gonna lie. I would definitely say seasons. I would definitely say seasons based game. Um, because I know that they redid seasons because seasons is better in 25 than it was 22. My personal opinion. Um, I just feel like they would enhance it better. Um, so like to be able to make hay, like you would actually have to mow, let it sit, ted it, let it sit, then rake it. Instead of just being able to mow it down and then ted it and blah, you got hay. Um, Also, I know one feature is when you're driving through a field and you drive over like your swaths of grass and stuff, like you can see the tire mark. Um, I wish that they would expand more on like the depth of it. And I know that they have um, terrain deformation, which I think was a big hit for FS25. That was my second one from my favorite feature. That was definitely my second one. Um, I just feel like they would expand more on that as well, so you'd be able to like get stuck in the mud. Um, so and if it rained, you can clearly see it's all muddy out, so you wouldn't go mow your field or go do field work because it'd be too muddy. Like you'd actually have to go out and be like, okay, is the field good enough right now, and other stuff like
See, that'd be a really cool kind of feature there is that, you know, like back in FS19 when they had seasons, one thing that you would do is, like you mentioned, the whole tedding thing. You know, you tedded the
that.
grass and it turned into basically dry grass, and then you let it sit in the sun and it eventually turned into hay. Um, Something along those veins I think would be kind of cool would be, you know, having the ability to measure the moisture in the ground to understand how it's going to interact with your tires and everything like that. And if it's too moist or it's too muddy and stuff, well then you'd have a higher propensity of actually getting stuck or creating damage to the field because you're going to be creating ruts and stuff that's going to destroy the ability to plant
Yeah.
in that space.
Oh yeah. I definitely agree, and also because in real life, if you have like a high yielding crop, like let's just say alfalfa. I'm just gonna use alfalfa for example. If you have a high yielding crop for alfalfa, um, and you start mowing it, and you could definitely tell, even in the game when you do grass, you could tell it's a high yield because of how thick the rows are, right?
Mm-hmm.
In real life, when you do that, you go much slower when you're going through the field because like the alfalfa or grass is thicker. Um, it contains more water, so the moisture is going to be higher. Um, so you don't want to go too fast. And I think that that would also be another great um, im- um, implementation into the game. Um, there was another thing which I also wanted to expand on real quick: the weather,
Sure.
like like in FS25, how they uh, how they introduced hail and tornadoes. I thought that was awesome, but I honestly wish that they would expand on that more to the point that if a tomato hits your farm, like, oh well, I mean, there goes your cow barn, you know, or there goes your tractor, you know.
Yeah, that would definitely be a really cool feature. One thing that I loved about the addition of the tornadoes and the hail was the kind of driving of consequences. And I think it'd be a really cool kind of path to go down if they kind of created more consequences for, whether it was bad decisions or not doing certain things. Like it just, I don't know. I'd want to flesh that out, but I think that'd be kind of a cool thing. Is that like consequences of not doing something or doing something the wrong way. And it sounds like that's kind of what you're talking about there too with the grass that and the alfalfa, the kind of higher yielding crops, the higher moisture crops, is that, hey, if you're growing too fast, you're either going to get a lesser yield or you could potentially damage the equipment faster or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, because I mean, if it's that thick and you're going like 14, 15 miles an hour, um, like you're gonna miss stuff. It's not gonna cut as well. Um, like, yeah, like I know it wouldn't happen in the game, but in real life, your mowers can actually clog.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so can your tethers, and so can your brakes. Um, I also wish that Giants, which I know that they do the research, and I don't know if it's different in like where they are in Germany than it is here in the States. In the States, I know using a merger gives you a better yield than using like a rotary rake or a wheel rake. So, uh, so I I just personally think that would be an awesome thing to see. There was one feature from FS19 from Seasons that I love so much to the point that I use it, and I used it more than well, I should say I use it a lot, but what the one feature I liked more than having to mow Ted, let it sit Ted, then you get hay, and that was the crop rotation. I wish we could have that base game
Yes. Mm-hmm.
because then I
Absolutely.
wouldn't have to. So then that way I wouldn't have to use up a piece of paper to write down what the crop rotation's gonna be for the field.
Kind of going through that whole simulation within the simulation. Okay, well, I had
Yeah,
corn this year. Well, I've got to throw something else in there because, in my head, this is how it's going to really work out. So, yeah, no,
yeah.
I get you. I get you right there. Let's see. Again, Cavalier Roy, thank you so much for your question. I greatly appreciate it. And the last one we have right now is from Rail Fanning Jonah says, you only have space on your PC/console for one mod. What would it be?
One mod, and that's it. Now this is going to be a PC only mod. Unfortunately, it's not for all platforms, but that's to have uh, have 64 animal pens. The more animal pens, the better.
Okay, okay. Again, Jonah, thank you so much for your question. And that appears to be all the questions from the audience. So, again, I want to thank everybody so much who participated here tonight with your questions. Greatly appreciate every one of you. I also want to say a big thank you to Dust Bunny for gathering up and sending in all these questions. Now we are going to head into our third and final segment, and that is That's a Silage Wrap. This is where we're going to start closing things out here. Firstly, I want to thank you, Will, so much for coming out here tonight and doing this interview. Had an absolute blast with you as always.
Yeah, as always.
So, before we get going, do you want to remind everybody where they can find you?
Yes. So um, yeah. So everyone can find me over at YouTube. That's at WillTgaming FSEncyclopedia. Which I do want to thank FS Farmer for subscribing earlier. I saw that notification. Appreciate it. Um, yeah, so you can find me over there on YouTube at WillTgaming FS Encyclopedia. Which also every Sunday we have agribusiness tonight, which we go over you know new mods, updates, news, stuff like that. Um, it's a great show. Check it out if you haven't yet. Uh, you can also find me on Facebook at Will T Gaming FS Encyclopedia, where you can stay up to where I post uh, new mods, updates, news, stuff like that. Whether it comes from giants themselves, from content creators, from modders. You can also find me over on Twitch. It's Diner24.
Awesome, awesome. And all those are linked down in the description below. So if you want to be able to find Will, go ahead and check out the description. I also have it pasted there on your screens there. So if you want to, go ahead and follow him there because, again, a vast wealth of knowledge. He works really, really hard to bring all the information that he possibly can from the other creators, from the modders, map makers, etc. So go ahead and follow him. All the links are in description. Do you have any future projects or plans going?
Um, just just the map. As soon as everyone reaches out to me, so we're able to get everything done. Then hopefully we'll get that tested and submitted off. Um, which from the way the map is going to turn out because of the people I have helping me. Um, like the way that Celabuki put it is, it's basically going to beat Lone Oak in his personal opinion.
Wow.
Um, so which he absolutely loved Lone Oak. He played out at in FS19 a lot, so he personally thinks the map that him and I are going to be mainly focusing on with the help of, which I want to give a shout out to for Lancy Boy, and ICUS as well, ICUS fan modding, um, for being able to help me. Uh, as soon as it's done, it'll be golden. Other than that, just stay tuned for more content going on. I'm hoping to be able to stream tomorrow on Twitch, so I would just stay tuned for that.
Excellent, excellent. Well, again, I want to thank everybody who came out here tonight to watch the interview. Greatly appreciate every single one of you who did so. And this is where I turn to the audience and say, if you have a creator out there within the farm sim space, whether they're a map maker, modder, content creator, whatever their tie is to the farming simulator community, and you want me to try and get them onto the show, let me know who they are. Unfortunately, I cannot know everybody who is out there within the farm sim space. There's so many people out there who exist out there. So I want to be able to interview anybody and everybody out there who exists in the farm sim space. The only restriction I have is that they have to be above the age of 18. So if you know somebody out there that meets those criteria, go ahead and let me know who they are. You can send it to any one of my social medias, my Discord, Facebook, X, Instagram, any one of them. I will do my best to get them onto the show. I greatly appreciate every single one of you out there who stopped by tonight, and I hope you enjoyed the content. And if you did, please show me by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things. The algorithms enjoy you doing, the shows you're engaged with this channel and enjoying the content. And that being said, I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Take care. We'll hang on until after the outro, and we'll catch you on the other side.
Sounds good.
Take care, everyone.
This is Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Let's roll.
Out here in the country, where the roads run wide, there's a world behind the pixels that we're bringing to the light. From maps to mods, to the rigs we drive, we're talking to the folks who keep this farm life alive. It's Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Come pull up a chair and ride along with me. Stories from the makers, the builders of the scene. Farm Sim Talk, where we live the farming dream. He's got questions rolling like a big John Deere, digging deep with modders so their voices we can hear. From giants of the code to the artists painting skies, he's shining up their stories like a brand new combine. It's Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Come pull up a chair and ride along with me. Stories from the makers, the builders of the scene. Farm Sim Talk, where we live the farming dream. From tractors to textures, from silos to sounds, there's a whole crew of heroes making this world go round. So tune in and find out who's behind the screen. Farm Sim Talk's the place to see what farming really means. It's Farm Sim Talk with B.